Eyes down for the morning, folks. Monday. No, Tuesday. Sorry, good grief, I'm shot to pieces, aren't I? I'm under a lot of pressure recently at the moment. I'm putting a new tenant in my house, and I've got loads to do. I've been flying around the town this morning trying to get a chimney basket for the wood burner, and nobody's got one in stock, so I'm going to have to order one off the internet. I've got a chap coming today for the steam cleaner who's taking it as it is, so I just want to get it, make sure that the pressure bit is working fine, and then get that gone if he wants it. And then I've got to go and measure up for some carpets up at the house, and go to town and get them. So in the meantime, I'm going to try and get a little bit of work done. But as soon as I can clear this off, the sooner I can get back to doing what I really like, and that's being in my workshop, quietly tinkering. Well, the man's been to look at this and he's very interested, but he thinks the pump's gone. Now, I don't know whether the pump's gone or not, because it was working perfectly 2 days ago, but there's certainly something wrong with the pump, because it picks up pressure and it blows pressure and then it quits, and then it blows pressure again, then it quits. So there's something wrong with it. But it seems like the burner's firing now, because when I got pressure up, it was blowing diesel fumes out of here and blowing dust out of here. So it's obvious the fan's running, but it's not igniting. So that's a minor problem. So he's gone away to think about it. I'm going to leave it as it is for now, and just knock it out and let him sort it, because I now have no need of a pressure washer, of a steam cleaner. So I've got a pressure washer, I've got a good pressure washer there, I've got another one as well, so I have no need of this. And if he wants to take it and have a play about with it and fix it, it's up to him. But I hope he will, because he seems like a real good guy. He seems like he knows absolutely what he's on about. And get it fixed and get it used. So, I'm still also perplexed by the problems with my amplifier at Driffield. I have a very nice Marantz amplifier which is working perfectly, but not on the phono. There appears to be nothing going through the phono side. I've signal traced it as far as I can. That is with the power off. I'm looking at possibly something in the there's what appears to be a preamplifier on it for the cartridges, a cartridge preamp. The signal seems to be getting to there, the signal seems to be getting through there, and then it goes to the switching, and then after the switching goes to the main amp. Well, the main amp works perfectly on tuner and works perfectly on auxiliary, because we've got a CD into the auxiliary. It's just not picking up on the phono, so I've missed something somewhere, so I'm going to have a look at it tonight. But in the meantime, I've just picked this one up. This is a Pioneer, and I've just given it a birthday because it was absolutely, the circuit card was absolutely covered in sticky brown dust. So I thought, well, that's not good for it to start off with. So as far as I know, this is in working order. So I shall let this dry out now, and then I shall take it back to Driffield tonight and see if this one works. What's that? Is that dirt, or is that? Oh, it's just light dust. Probably a bit of it. I've just washed it down with 100% alcohol, and that's taken most of the dust off it. So that might even blow away now. No, look at that pressure, it won't. Never mind. Anyway, I'm going up to Keith's for a coffee. Right. Morning, folks. Wednesday. And I found out the fault with that Pioneer turntable I took yesterday to replace the Bang & Olufsen one. And I also found out there's nothing wrong with the Bang & Olufsen one, it's actually the phono inputs on the amplifier that aren't working. But the Pioneer PL12D, which is over here, now there's a little note on it which says runs fast, because that's what it does. So I'm just sussing out how you adjust the speed, whether it's electronic or whether it's just a matter of tweaking a pot. So that's a little job that's to do. I'm still fault finding on the Marantz amplifier. I've checked the switches out. I know that the signal's getting to the preamp, the stylus preamp, the cartridge preamp, and I need to power it up now and see if the signal's coming out of the other end of the preamp, which I doubt it is. But I ran out of time, so there you go. So in the meantime, I grabbed another amplifier off my stack, which is now down to 2 amplifiers, and I've put that back on and cleaned all that out with isopropyl alcohol and put that back on. So the stereo is working again, so Catherine can play her Bessie Smith records. So there you go. So I have got 2 blokes coming shortly to fit carpets in the house, so that's ready for new tenant to move in. And I'll maybe have the chap ringing me back today to tell me whether he wants this or not. He's gone away to do some research, and that means that for a brief minute, because you can guarantee as soon as I start doing something they'll ring me up and say, right, we're on our way. So for a brief minute I've got to find a job in here. Let's see what I can find. I started off with a tidy up. Doesn't that look better? And I've got the clutch up in the chuck ready for boring out that old bent shaft. And then I picked on this, which is something that I've no use for anymore. It's a vice on a double slide. What would you call it? A compound slide vice. That's the vice. That slides that way, and that also slides that way. So it's sort of like mount it on a milling machine, mount it on a big heavy drill press and do some crude milling with it. But it's a good piece of kit. It's Jacob, it's branded Jacob 200, but I think it's probably Chinese, I'm not sure. Anyway, I'm going to strip it down, give it a clean up, get it all working freely, and sell it. So, off we go. Everything seems to be working quite smoothly apart from this, which is binding, which is it's not surprising really, is it? So I'm going to take that out. There's an Allen screw under there. Take that out, give it a brighten up, and while I'm on I'll probably do that screw as well on the wire wheel. Let's go. Right, I've moved around into the mucky shop. I've got the bar out and cleaned up. This is the jaw, and the bar was supposed to slide on there. Well, it was very tight and not very well fitted, so I'm fitting that a bit better. I don't know if I would actually... Yeah, it's still not a sliding fit. It's supposed to be a sliding fit in there, it just isn't. It's like I said, this is probably Chinese, or it could be Korean, or it could be something like that. But when you buy these things, you always treat them as a kit that you're going to have to strip down, clean up and fettle before you use them. But let's face it, for what you pay for them, the castings would cost you a fortune. We can't make castings in this country anymore because of health and safety, so most of the foundries have gone out of business. There you go. We had a big foundry in Driffield, which is my local town, called Taylor's. and they ran an ironmonger's shop, and at the back of the ironmonger's shop you walked up a yard, and at the end of that there was a huge foundry with a cupola furnace, and they used to make everything in cast iron. Everything you can think of. Plus they had a steam engine, although when I went in there the steam engine wasn't working. The steam engine had an electric motor put on the top of the steam engine, and that drove the overhead line shaft, which drove milling machines and lathes and shaping machines, all for machining the castings up. And the whole place was, as usual with foundries, the floor, you couldn't really tell whether there was a floor or whether it was just moulding sand. But I think they finally stopped casting in sometime in the 60s. It was, I would have gone there first as an apprentice in 1967-68, been sent up to get nuts and bolts or some sort of ironmongery from them. And I often went up to the foundry, and there were people working in the foundry, but I never saw the furnace alight, so I don't think they were doing casting anymore, but there you go. It's a car park now, as usual. Right, I shall crack on with this, fit this a bit more and get this sliding smoothly before I put it back together. I've also got to make a handle for there. That's come out. That'll clean up alright. It's looking better already. Looking better already. Well, she's all done. All freed off, oiled, cleaned up and ready. Except I noticed there's no drawers in the vise. And this is about the closest bar I've got to it, and I think it's Galvo. It'll be mild seal Galvo. I don't know where the hell I've got it from, but I've been roughly through my metal store, and also that metal store, and I haven't come across anything yet apart from that, but that's aluminium. That's aluminium. I'll have to have a look. I'll have a good look tomorrow and see if I can find anything, because it needs to be fairly thick to get some screws into it, and it also needs to project just above the vise after it's been machined. And the problem with that is when it's been machined, by the time I've machined the top and bottom and machined two faces of it so that it's flat, it's going to be a bit on the small side. I'll see what I can rake up tomorrow. Anyway, job done. Carpets down in the house, bathroom vinyl down in the house, all looking very good. So, time to go home, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye now. Afternoon, folks. Thursday. Up at the house, putting up smoke detectors, well, smoke and CO2 detectors, and just looking for the best place to put them. And it says if you're putting one in the kitchen, put it as far away as possible from the cooking appliances. So I'm going to put it up there, and then I'm going to put one at the top of the stairs directly outside the main bedroom. So that should sort that out. Right, let's do it. Well, there you go, folks. How can fitting something so simple be such a bloody nightmare? So the first two holes I've hit timber, which is good, except the screws aren't quite long enough to reach the timber. Alright, so the third one I've put one of the plastic plugs in, that's fine. But the first two I've had to use slightly longer screws, and they don't fit into the countersink, and so you can't put the thing on. So I've now got to go and find some very small countersink screws that are longer than that. Ain't life a bitch sometimes? One down and one to go. And there's number two, folks, outside the master bedroom. Lovely. 4 o'clock, folks, back at the workshop. I've just walked up to the house with Michael and with the longest ladder he's got, and it's not long enough. So we haven't got the chimney cowling. So that's a bit of a pain in the arse, but we've got somebody on it. We've got our local mega building contractors, Harlands, who have got access platforms, and I've also got a telehandler with a man bucket on it. And so it might be that does it, because it's well dodgy off a ladder. You know, you think the chimney's high, and then you get up to the chimney and the chimney pot's even higher. So we'll have to see if they can do it. But we've left him a message. Mike's spoken to the guy, and he's going to see what he can do and get back to me. So in the meantime, we have some vice jaws to make, and we also have this chap down here. And what this chap wants is a frame making very similar to this, to go under his arms just to support him, and to go down his back and into a block of stone. So what I'm going to do is to see if I can find some plate for making these jaws, and then see if I can find some rod like that stuff, for making the support for our antique African, I would have said, maybe African, maybe Ceylon or something like that, I don't know. He sort of looks oriental. Let's see what we can find. By the time it's machined nice and square, that will be just the job. That will be just the job. In fact, all it wants really for a vice of this quality is just brightening up and drilling. Although I could machine the top flat. I wonder how flat it is. This is not a piece of precision equipment. This is not a precision vice. Right? So I'll have a look, but that's a job for tomorrow, because it's gone 4 o'clock now, and look how well that works now. Look how well that works. That was really poor. Right. So next thing I need is some round bar to make Mr. Man a stand. Let's see what I can find. Got him on the operating table. He's very difficult to measure up because, of course, he's a hand carving and he's not at all, shall we say, equally measured. I can't think of the word at the moment. So I'm going for a bit of flat strip, and that's where I want my second bend. So I want 65 from there, and then we'll make another bend, cut it off, and see if we can get a nice shape out of it to make it fit properly. Right folks, we have made a nice little strap that whichever way you put it on, the opposite arm is too long. So we'll leave that to for Andy to fettle. I'll weld these holes up so they will disappear, and put a piece of long bar on it, but not today because it's home time, and I need to go home because I live there. Primitive art, but nice. Right, home time. We're getting there. Well, good morning folks. It's Friday, and I'm not going to carry on with this because I want to have a chat with Andy and see whether he wants a piece of strip down there or whether he wants a round bar down there. I've got both, but that's the main part of the job. And when I weld it, I shall weld these holes up as well. So I moved on to another job, which is yet another pair of these candlesticks. And they have on them a very obscure thread, which measures out as far as I can see. It's very fine, and it measures out as far as I can see at 26 TPI. Or it could be 25. And I've got a tap here which says on it 3/8, but no TPI, unfortunately. So I got a bit of scrap brass, which I've now lost there. No, that's not it. Where's my bit of scrap brass? There. I got a bit of scrap brass, drilled it and tapped it, that thread, to see if it'll fit there, and it won't. It's just too small. Right, now this, as far as I can see, is a cycle thread. British standard cycle thread on a 3/8. If you look at that, it does look like cycle thread. But why would you use cycle thread to put that together? Well, the answer to that is, if you made bicycles, or you repaired bicycles, you'd have a set of cycle thread taps and dies, and they would be something that you'd invested a lot of money in, because they were very expensive. Even today, they're still very expensive. And of course, if you were doing any other jobs, you'd use them. So Michael's just gone up home for his mid-morning cup of tea, and when he comes back, we're going to go down and have a look at his set of cycle thread taps and dies, and see if we can find one, because I need to make this. Fits this, that fits into there. So what I need to make is a nut to go under there, and I also need to make a thread to solder into there to screw that one onto, and then we'll have a pair of candlesticks which go together. That closes over there, and they're travelling candlesticks, right? These things are sent to trials, but this is there's a lot of very obscure threads. There's also one called British Standard Brass, which I've never ever seen a set of taps and dies British Standard Brass, but it exists, so it could be that. So I'm going to work my way on with this and see if I can get anywhere. And then I've got another little job here, if I can open it. Which end does it open at? There. Which is to make a piece of metal like that to fit round the lock. That fits round the lock there, like that. Lovely. So there's my pattern. I'll see if I can cut that out. Onward. Well folks, drawn another blank. This does appear to be 25 TPI, which people will say, it could be metric, it could be 1 mil pitch. Well, it could, but it isn't, because if you look at this diameter, pitches on this diameter are more like 1.25 or 1.5, so it's not a metric. I've tried Michael's collection of cycle threads, which are different cycle threads to the ones I've got, and there isn't one of them either. There is a 3/8 by 25 TPI thread which I have found, which is an obscure gunsmithing thread, mainly American. So there you are. So what this is, I don't know, so I'm going to wait until Andy comes back, and we're going to have a chat about it and see what we can do. See whether we see if he's put that in. My first instinct would be to take it out again, or to cut a different thread on it. But there you go. It's a bit of a conundrum. So on to something else. I've just been up to Keith's and handballed 6 sheets of 8x4 by 18mm plywood down to the shed with him, and now I've brought this back because the screw is missing out of the screw that holds the blade is missing, so I can make one, but what it really wants is an Allen grub screw, and I was just looking to see if I had one, and of course I haven't. It's Friday, everything goes wrong on Friday, doesn't it? I haven't got an Allen grub screw, and I don't think I can turn the head off one and use that. I think I'm going to have to order some. It's M6. I'm pretty sure it's M6. I'll check up on that. So I'll have to order some of those. So, what's the next job? Well, the next job is to cut a piece of tin to that shape, to Andy's superb little pattern. Right, let's put these taps and dies away because we're getting nowhere and go on with the next job. Right, I've put another job to one side because I'm having thread problems, and I've gone on to this one, which I'm just hacking out of a piece of tin, which I shall then proceed to burn the paint off and fold it, and that will be done. Another little job achieved. It's Friday and I'm at a loose end because I'm sort of waiting for a phone call from Harlands to rush up to my house and get this chimney cowl put on, and it's not happening. I mean, what that means is they haven't got a machine in the yard, so, or they haven't got anybody to do it, so I'm just jobbing little jobs off while I'm waiting. Right, I'm going to put 2 hacksaw slots down there and then just file the rest out, and that's another bit done. And there we go, folks, an authentic lock cover which fits perfectly if I can get it back in the right position. There we are. Job's a good one. I've actually finished something. Right, onward. I've just noticed something about this box which is a bit of a conundrum. So there's the latch. See that moving up and down? There's the keyhole. And there's the peg that goes into the latch and locks. But when it's locked, I'm not going to lock it. You can't get to the keyhole. So how the hell do you unlock it? I shall have to ask Andy about that and see what the game is. By the way this is made, it could be old. It's obviously had some repairs done to it, and they're old repairs. Why is that got bits brazed in there? And it's had something brazed in the bottom as well. Curiouser and curiouser. It doesn't have come across some odd ones. But there we are, that fits perfectly. Right, job done. I'll remember not to latch it, otherwise I'll be in big trouble. A new bottom in a bucket. I wonder how we should do that. It's a bit flexible, this one. It's a bit flexible. I think we'll have to I'll have to look how it's made. That ring's gone on afterwards, hasn't it? And is it riveted? Well, it's riveted at the joints, but apparently not anywhere else. 2 rivets there on the inside. I don't know. See if we can get a bit of round tin and get it to the shape before we cut it. I'm not going to cut anything out of there. I'm going to let Andy do that, because then if he ruins it, it's his fault, not mine. There we go. Oh look, it's a tiny pie dish. It's actually bucket bottom in the making. So what do we do? How do we do it? Well, first of all, we take a pair of pliers and we bend the edges, right, as much as we can into a circle. Then I have a pair of long-nosed angle pliers, and I go around the edge and I put kinks in it all the way around, little kinks, and start to dress it round a piece of old fire extinguisher, but around a piece of tube basically, and keep dressing it, keep tapping it, and when you've tapped your way around about 2 or 3 times, stop, heat it up red hot to soften it, and then start again. This has taken me about half an hour. Doesn't take long. It's nearly finished now. It's nearly fitting. It's very close to fitting. I just need to go a bit further and it'll fit. So I shall warm it up again, and we shall work on it. And there we go, folks. After much tapping and trimming, we have a new bottom for a new bucket. Now, to you and me, this is an absolute job that's not worth doing. But to Andy, he wanted it repairing. So that says to me, it goes with something. It's part of something else, or it makes up something. So there we are. So I'm going to leave that there now, leave that as it is. Andy will he may want to clean it out inside, he may think the rust is authentic. So, so I'm going to leave it to him, and what I'm going to do then is I'm just going to solder it in. Just get some plumbing flux and some solder and just solder it in. And the job will be a good one. Another little repair. Another little antique repair done. It's just a pity we can't do something with that, but I'm not gonna do any more with this until I can consult and see. Yawn. Well, it's Friday. It's almost home time. So I think what I'm going to do now is the usual and have a tidy up. I'm a bit peed off because I ran out of gas and I refilled my gas bottle from the big bottle using my gas bottle refilling adapter, and when I unscrewed it, that bit, which obviously goes in there, stayed in the gas bottle and it sheared off. So it's either get another one or make one. I think it might be just order another one. They're about £2 they're about £2.50, I think. I'll see how much they cost. That's a pain in the arse. Never mind. These things are sent to triers. Isn't that annoying? It's very thin. That's very thin. And it's obviously been Loctited in as well from the little smear of red on it. What a pain in the arse. That works so well as well. Hello, Michael. There's Uncle
Hello.
Michael.
Hello, Whitney's workshop. How are you doing?
Look.
Ah, nice. Oh, bugger.
Broken.
Not nice.
What a pain.
Is that supposed to be in there?
As Donovan would say, the sun was going down behind a tattooed tree. Except it's not going down over there because that's the south. It's actually going down behind the buildings over there. But it's Friday night. It's Halloween. And I'm going home. Because that's where I live. So, thank you all for watching. Thanks for all the likes and the attention I got last week. I got over 1,000 views last week, which is not down to me putting out a brilliant video or a real clickbaity title, but down to YouTube promoting me a bit. So there you go. So will it happen this week? Probably not. Never mind. Enjoy. Relax. Have a good Halloween. And I'll see you all next week. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for liking. Send me loads of comments. I love answering the comments. And I'll see you all next week when, with any luck, we'll once again be back in the workshop and I'll be able to concentrate on doing bigger jobs because I've got bigger jobs to do. I've got the clutch for the motorcycle, not motorcycle, for the go-kart thing, Jaguar thing, set up in the lathe, ready to bore that out. And that'll be a job for next week. I'll crack on and do those vice jaws next week unless somebody comes and buys it off me, in which case I'll save my materials. But there you go. Right, see you all next week. I'll stop waffling now and I'll bugger off home. Bye now.